Hi, I'm Cris. Welcome to another video. Thanks for tuning in. In this video we are going to talk about sequencer, and in this particular scenario we are gonna try and hook them up to a neutron. Why would I make a video about this? Well, the thing is, I have read on forums and I have been asked this question many times from various people who ask this question: what is the best sequencer for my neutron? And I think we need to focus a little bit here. The word best. What is best? Best, that is a very biased and a very subjective word. You can kind of say that you like this kind of glass, that's the best glass in the world, while someone else say this glass is the best glass in the world. While someone would say, no, I like this cup. This cup is the best cup in the world. Alright, but these two glasses are more best than this cup. Okay, so these are better than the best cup. No, it doesn't work like that. No, not at all. Let me get this straight. When we are talking about sequencers, everything in life is based on sequences you do. You wake up in the morning at a certain time, most of the times, so to say. In my case, I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, or at some other days I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. That's two sequencers. Okay, I'm gonna try and illustrate what I mean with this. The 6 a.m. sequence, so to say, I have from 6 till around something like 8:15 to make breakfast, to shower and just get ready for work. And from this sequence there is a little bit more different, because then I have from 4 a.m. until somewhere about 7 a.m. wake up, make breakfast, shower and go to the bus. So this is kind of the same kind of sequences I am going through, but the time is a little bit different here. It's a bit different. And then I have another sequence, like on the weekends when I wake up, let's say 7 o'clock a.m. and then I have like a whole different sequence in life, because then I don't have to normally go by bus, or I can just wake up, I can shower, I can take the breakfast, I can have the most important thing for me, a good cup of coffee, a great cup of coffee. So that's one sequence, and one sequence. We have three different sequencers here, and that's a little bit how a sequencer in the musical world is working. Let's just rip this paper off and continue by that. The sequencers I'm going to cover today is the I would say BeatStep Pro. That's one, and I'm going to also cover the KeyStep, and we are going to cover the SQ-1 from Korg, and I have a bonus as well, and that's an Akai that's beautiful, MPD32. I will have to point out these three are kind of the main sequences that has been kind of pointed out. I'm going to talk a little bit about the BeatStep Pro and the KeyStep and this SQ-1. They do one thing very good, and that is the sequence stuff, but they work a bit different. So if we are looking at this one, you probably know I have covered this one before. This is the Arturia BeatStep Pro. One thing to keep in mind, and this goes with all the Arturia sequencer stuff, is this. This is a stupid USB port. I mean, I'm not sure how many times I have been on the verge to break it off. Actually, I have broken this one. But anyhow, we are not going to talk about the durability about this. We are going to talk about how it works and why you should pick like the BeatStep Pro. The BeatStep Pro has very nice features. It has like 3 different tracks. I have covered this one in another video, so if you wanna learn even more about that, what you can do, you can go check it out. I will probably link it down below somewhere. I don't care. But anyhow, this one is very nice to control things because you can record your sequence or your sequences in different ways. Either you can dial in them here and get really creative, and you have 16 steps to begin with, or you can punch in the notes here, and you just press the record button and you start to say which sequencer am I gonna start with, the number, and all kind of stuff to program. So I will have to say that this one is very nice if you are on stage and you're doing a lot of creative stuff. You want to sequence something, like say the root note is C, then you just press C. But you can also you can transpose very easy by just holding down like Shift, and you can transpose the whole sequence in different scales. You can have minor scale, major scale, chromatics, all kind of stuff. So this one is great. You can also have triplet, and along with the Neutron, I think this one works very nice. You can make really creative stuff. You can work with triplets, you can work with like rolls, you can put the randomness here. You have some randomness, and you can swing, and you got the probability, and you can put individual swing values. Now swing it for the main, but you can put in individual randomness and probability for different tracks. So let's say that you have all 3 tracks. This is a drum track, so that works a little bit different, but these 2 tracks, you can have them go a bit different, and you can also have them being sent to like MIDI channel 1 or different channels, so you can have more dynamic in that aspect. But I think this one is very nice in your studio or live. It depends on what you want. I think this one is, like I said, it's a creative sequencer, and it has a nice workflow. You don't have to guess anything here. You just, when you are in like the sequencer mode, you just turn on which are the notes. Here you can see now you can note 1 is turned on, 5th, 9th and 13th note are on. So these, when it's shining green, it indicates that these are the notes that are kind of like triggered. You have them on, it's triggered, yeah. So that one is great for that purpose, and you also have a lot of nice features down here. You can, if we're looking like that way, you can go here, you can divide the steps into 16, 32, 48 and 64 steps, and just go back and forth. And when we are doing that, you can see that the LEDs are lighting up here. Depends on where you are in the chain, so to say, in the sequence and track. So this one is for all purpose stuff, all kind of purpose stuff. It doesn't matter what genre you are aiming for. I think this one is creative, like I said, and you can do very much and more with it. Plus the actual drum track here is supreme. It really can do crazy stuff, and you can punch in different sequences for drums, and here you can kind of chain them up like this, or you can change the actual sequence there. Also keep in mind, I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but it's impossible. I will of course get biased, but that's what it is. I mean, this is just my words, these are my words, and well, go out and try if you really want to be sure. But this is just me trying to break things down, the best side and the weakest sides. The weakest sides about this is actually, so far I haven't really found any weakness in this. Well, sometimes it can be a bit tricky when you are working with the sequences here. and you by mistake you forgot to save it, and it doesn't remind you, hey, you want to save this pattern now, and you press it, then it's gone by the wind. So that's a bit downside, but at the same time you don't want to have things flashing when you're playing live. You just want to have on the go. And another thing is that you can't really interrupt the sequence. If you want to change the sequence, it must go to the end before you can start a new one. Both yes and no's, but these are kind of the things you have to keep on track when you're working with BeatStep Pro. And as I said before, the port here, this port, the USB port, it's catastrophic. I mean, it's totally. What were they thinking? They should have made it more robust and stuff. Also, something that's really cool, that you have the media out and in, and you have a clock, and these are the CV gates out. And I think that so many different ways you can control your CV. You have the pitch, velocity, and gate. That's all she wrote. And on this one you can also trigger with the drum out, or drum gates actually. You can trigger things here. So that's a plus. That's what I like most about the BeatStep Pro. If we are moving on, like we want to do, we are coming to the KeyStep Pro. Or no, it's a KeyStep only. And the KeyStep, I haven't been playing around too much with it, so I should maybe have done my homework. The KeyStep is really nice. I like it because you can work with a sequencer. You can have it here, turn on the sequencer, or just use the arpeggiator. So you have different modes, and here you can kind of tell it, randomize your sequence or your arps, and you can tell it go up, down, increase, increase, and yeah, all kind of nice how the order should go. So everything is really hands-on here. And here you have the time divider, so you can divide the time, and here's the rate, of course. This one I would say is nice if you are, or at least in my opinion, if you are working with more melodic stuff. You're going from, you know, chords like a C, and you have like something like that, an A, and going to an F, G, anything like you really have, you know, you have the F here, you get the D, you get the D minor, and such things, because like I said, it's more like a keyboard, so you can do live stuff here. You have like we saw here, you have the pitch, you have the modulation wheel, and you can transpose, whoopsie daisy, I'm gonna remove something, there we go, and you can transpose the octave. And just, yeah, here was the chord, the chord thing I was talking about. So you can hold it down to hold a chord. So this one is very nice, and it's kind of multi-timbral, so you have a lot of polyphony to work with. I have to say the keys are feeling nice, even though I got some, you know, fatty fingers, man fingers. They can really aim the notes with no problems, and I've been using this one both live, studio, the fields and stuff like that. Well, it has a lot of freedom, and the sequencer, you can record to it. It feels nice. You can do like a live sequence if you want to play something like a nice triad, boom, 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 you can just record boom, 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 and I would say, and then I can play it, dun, 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 and it will just go on. So the KeyStep is nice. And we also have another one in the store today. Got the SQ-1. The SQ-1 is a tiny little box, but it's very, very, very potential. You have a lot of things to play with here. And you say, okay, but it's just an 8-step sequencer. Both yes and no. It depends on how you set this one up. You can have it playing actually 60 notes here, and you can have it go, you have a lot of ways to kind of drive the different notes you have dialed in here, and we're gonna look at that in a very moment. You have it going straight like so, You can have it go zigzag. You can have it play the dual lines, the dual channel AB at the same time. You can have it CV duty. You can have CV slide, and you also have random features. So just pick random notes. And another really nice thing about this, if you are into it, it has little bits output here, and it also have MIDI output and CV gate and stuff like that for AB. So you can, yeah, and you also have sync in and out, of course. So it has all you need, and it's a little tiny box, battery driven. So you can also drive it like that via the USB port. This one I like. I have had it mostly in the fields together with the BeatStep Pro, so I have hooked them up and made a little chain so it gets a little bit more creative, kind of add some more spices to your mix, to your sequence. And like I said, it depends on how you program this one. You can have it to go really berserk. And one other thing that is nice about this little bastard, the SQ-1, is that you can change the volt or actually hertz per volt, and that is really nice. So it does. So you're not. What I'm trying to say is that you're not just locked to the Korg's voltage per octave thing, or the Roland, or anyone. You can just change it all the way you want. And if you really want to go a little bit more creative, you can also use the attenuators to give it some more creativity, I should say, to change the CV behavior. When would I use the SQ-1? Like I said, I'm using it like a little jack in the box, so to say. And what I mean by that is I'm using it to spice up things. It's more like a little spice box. I don't know if that's a proper musical term, but anyhow, it's great for just be a little bit crazy in the mix. That's what I'm using it for, to trigger other things. Like I said, delays or the resonance. You can have it more like crush some more pepper. Okay, so yeah, we are gonna take a look at another one which I was mentioning, the MPD32. This is a really old one from, I don't know when I bought it. I get some stuff here. This one is perhaps the sequencer I would use less, because the sequencer itself is really pardon my I got some kind of fever going on. Anyhow, this one is not so easy to program because, well, I mean, if you're into Akai's stuff, how the Akai is working, it's okay, but you have, when you press on the record, you have to dial in everything here, and you don't really see on this little display what's going on so much. But eventually we are going to take it to the test, so to say, but I won't promise anything, because like I said, I am not 100% sure about this. It was just something that was recommended, and I happen to have one in my studio, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But this was the theoretical part. This was the theory about the BeatStep Pro, the KeyStep, and the SQ-1. So now we are going to hook up my Neutron, just make a simple patch, and we are going to listen to everything. Alright, we're back. What you hear now is a simple patch, nothing special, but we're gonna listen a little bit. This is just something I made fast as hell. that's it. So as we can hear now, this is pretty straightforward sequencer here, or sequence actually. I could go and change like this one. We can try and keep it like this, and I'm just gonna show a little bit like what I was talking about. Now we can really change the scale. Down here you can also change. Can go down like an octave if you want to do that. So this is what I'm talking about. This one is when you have something going on and you just wanna kind of listen at the other sequence here. But this is just something. I'm not gonna talk too much, I'm just gonna let it. You will probably get the picture anyhow. Yeah, so as you can hear, it's easy to get carried away here. But what I'm trying to explain here is that this one is, as you can hear and see, it's very innovative. You can create a lot of basic stuff and you can trigger them, especially with this little roller and looper stuff. You can really have fun. So this one is dynamic and it has a lot of flexibility, and yeah, I think this is good for whatever you want to do with it. Let me not be the one to judge too much, but it's kind of one of my favorites. But now we are going to move on to the KeyStep. Alright, so it's hooked up. One cool thing about this, the KeyStep, is that you have either you can have it see the output and you have a sustain pedal and syncing out, of course, but you can also have the MIDI directly, so you don't need those snakers, so to say, DIN thing. This is using the old school MIDI stuff, so connectors, so that is kind of cool. But if we are listening to it, now I'm just playing with ARP and I'm having it on hold, so I'm gonna go back an octave. Now I'm just changing the ARP mode here. And the timing here. Yeah, you can't really see, but it's the timing, the time divider I'm playing with. And this is triplets, so and can do something. I just change the octave here, so and you can have free play, like oh, I'm playing like an angel today. Anyhow, but it's cool. I cannot. Oh yeah. Yeah, anyhow, so like you can hear when I'm trying to, it's just not it's just not a keyboard, so to say. It's not a MIDI controller, but I hate to say it, but I haven't really got the chance to play with the KeyStep too much. So maybe I should just have done my homework in a better way, but I know it's capable of a lot of more things than I'm showing here, but you get the idea. Here you have like the keys, while on the BeatStep Pro you have like the pads to play with when you want to play some chords. You have to, I mean, it's basically the same. I mean, this is like an E G, if we have an E G B here, so you can, so it's the same but different. Same but different. So yeah, that's a little bit about the KeyStep. And now we are going to take a look at the SQ-1. Here we go. So the SQ-1, it's like I said, it's not just an 8-step sequencer. It has A and B steps, sequences. So we're gonna listen to what on earth is going on here. Here we can adjust the speed. So this one reminds me a little bit more of the old school sequences, like the bigger system, the ARP systems and stuff like that, because you just dial in your stuff here, like this. You can listen to it. And duty is like, and now we have the CV duty, so here you're just controlling the CV with a B line here, or channel B. And here you can change the voltage here. And there's no way you can destroy anything, to just go. And this won't make any sense, because since the Neutron, well, I can try something if it's doing like this. And we're just... we can just... yeah. So you can have it kind of... This one is a really crazy mode. I can get really expressive here. Like I said, this was a nice little toy box. Can you change so you can hear what I'm talking about here? This one, cool. Now we're getting really weird things going on here. Now we have it set, so this is the CV and this is the slide, so you can type in like this to clear it out. There we go. You can change the scale as well here, so and you have some modes you can also change here. The active steps, and here you can type in the slides. And you can set so yeah, I think that the SQ-1, the SQ-1 has a lot of possibility. I think in a way it's also one of my favorites. I kind of like it because it reminds me about the old school sequencers, and yeah, I'm just saying you have to do the math, so to say. One thing, I'm not going to even touch the MPD32 because it doesn't make any sense and it wasn't mentioned that much. And the purpose of this video is not to go through 100,001 sequencers. That's not the idea at all. So we are just going to, you didn't make it to the list, you're out of here. But to zoom things up a little bit here, okay. I'm not trying to sell anything out here, okay? I'm not trying to say, oh, you should really go and get the Korg SQ-1, that's the stuff. No, because like I said in the beginning, to kind of answer the question, which is the best sequencer for my Neutron, I am saying no. I say no. The answer is no. There is nothing called the best sequencer. We are back to the beginning here. Best. What is best? It's what you make it. You make it best. You make it great. I mean, if you're into, I would say, if you're into live situation, maybe the BeatStep Pro is for you. But if you are also into live situations, you want to play some leads, you know how you're from the piano bass, you know, you have been playing classical music, piano, organs, or anything that has to do with keyboards, then the SQ-1 is probably something for you. But if you are more like an experimental person who is trying to explore that old-fashioned analog feeling, well, maybe the SQ-1 is something for you. Because the SQ-1 has, I would type it like this: the SQ-1 and the BeatStep Pro, they are more playable, so to say. You can play around with them. They are more like a little playground, so to say. While the KeyStep, it's a playground in itself, but also it's more like hands-on. You are a bit more limited to scales and arps, and the freedom is less with the KeyStep. That is my opinion, even though I haven't explored it the way I should. But my recommendations are just go to your local store, your local music hardware dealer or whatever, and just try and, you know, hook them up to whatever synth you are into. But in this case we were asked which is the best sequencer for the Behringer Neutron, and I hope that this video has kind of sequenced things up a little bit, and maybe you now know a little bit more what would fit you, what would be your workflow, what would be the best, so to say, for you, because owning all three of them doesn't mean that anyone outperforms the other one is not as best or good as the other one. You get it. It's I don't want to make, this little circular thing where everything, whatever you put into this will just go around. That is not my purpose about this. This is more like to put the frame around certain features and frame it down to all the three sequences I have shed some lights over. That's the whole purpose about this video. And like I said, in the middle here somewhere between the legs, I said that you can use the Korg SQ-1 to kind of pepper up stuff, to freshen up, to be a little bit crazy. And I'm gonna show you a little example of that, so hang on. First, let's just make a simple bass line here, okay? That's great. Now we have a bass line to play with. And I'm just gonna put this one aside, let it play. I'm just gonna bring up my Neutron here. Gonna make some lights there. I'm gonna take my SQ-1, I'm gonna see if we can align it a bit more properly, like so. That is beautiful. And now we can kind of patch in, let's say, the VCA in. Now it's silent, and we take the VCA from, it is from the gate. Now the VCA is not such a good example. We can take the oscillator. Now we're gonna do nothing fancy going on, but if we are doing like this, now we're starting to get things going here. Sequence a little bit here. Just like this. And I'm gonna grab another one here, connect it into oscillator 2. And we're gonna do the same, but for the... Just listen at... Of course, this sounds like some kind of boulder dash or something like that. Or some kind of mosquitoes going crazy in the woods. Go on here, we can be more creative. Can take the gate out here and go in with the... Yeah, of course. The shape. I put it out like that. I'm gonna... We are feeling that this is getting a little bit out of hand, right? So we can take the oscillator, can do it like this. Wow, this sounds really cool. Wow, we are gonna go crazy here, okay? I'm not gonna talk too much because, yeah. Can take the oscillator out. The one we're going to connect to. Oh, that boulder dash is going on. Now we can just start to play with the actual device itself to get really... Let's see now, what can we do to make it... Now we're getting there. I was afraid this was gonna happen. But as you can hear, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with... Of course, I'm just, mangling. Yeah, but anyhow, let's round this one up a bit. I hope, like I said, this has shed some lights on the different usage of the different sequencers, and hopefully it has, well, given you some ideas and thoughts about what sequence you want to choose, what sequence you want to pick for your Neutron. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in our other one. And since it's almost 2020, hit that subscribe button, and smash that like button. slap it or do whatever you want. And I will see you guys in another one. Bye!